My favorite story about Harvey is that he always used to stick his head in the office and ask Joe Reich or I if we wanted to go play golf, and we were always way too busy to go play golf, and he would always just kind of chuckle at us and say, "I'm going to ask you tomorrow what was so important that you couldn't go play golf with me today, and I guarantee you tomorrow you won't even remember what you were doing that was so important." So he tried to ground us into making sure we had some fun. And after he had passed away, I began to, every time I would play golf, I would put a golf tee in memory of Harv on top of my door sill to my office, and that has always served as a reminder to me of how important it is to take time for yourself and your friends and your loved ones, and just enjoy life every day. So yeah, that's my fondest memory of Harv. One of my fondest memories of Harv.
Okay, I'm Linda Hopkins, and I was a friend of Harvey Nesbitt's since the early 80s. He was on the Chamber of Commerce, as was I. And at that time, we worked together to solve a community problem, basically to build a replacement daycare center for low-income families. And with Harvey's good reputation, standing, and impeccable ethics, we walked into a bank. Harvey asked if he could borrow $1 million, and basically on a handshake, we were able to borrow money, build a daycare center. Took about 10 years to pay the bank back, but we did, and I think all of that is to Harvey's credit as an ethical, outstanding business person.
Hello, my old heart, how have you been? Are you still there inside my chest?
One time it was Christmas time, and I stopped at Best Buy and picked up some different things for my kids, and I got back to the office, and Harv was in the next office from me, and looked at my receipt, and I noticed that I didn't get charged for a video game. So I walked in and I told Harv about it, and Harv said, "Well, you're going to go back, aren't you?" I said, "Where?" He goes, "To Best Buy." "You're going to pay for that, aren't you?" And I said, "Oh, Harv," and he said, "How much is your integrity worth?" That was Harv.
Don't leave me here alone. Don't tell me that we've grown for having loved a little while.
Harv had a couple of sayings that he really lived by and that I've tried to live by. They've really helped to shape my life. And the first one is, you can catch more flies with honey than you can with vinegar. And Harv, I don't think, ever met anyone that he didn't like, or he never met anyone he couldn't find something nice to say about. He was real good at that, and he could walk into any situation with young kids up to seniors and have come up with a conversation and feel very comfortable, and I always admired that about him. One of the other sayings he loved, and this really pertains to real estate, is "some will, some won't, so what next?" And being a realtor, every day you get some type of rejection, and you have to be able to live with that and move forward. And he would always say, "I just got to let it go and move forward. Some will, some won't, so what next?" Harv was my Mr. Wonderful, and I miss him tremendously.
I want to find a home, I want to share it with you.
One thing I think that my dad was, and a lot of people know, is he was very charitable, and he loved to give. And oftentimes he did it at times when he wasn't expecting to. And one Christmas Eve, it was very snowy. We were here at the office wrapping presents for my mom because all the presents were here. And when we were leaving in this little cubby, little entranceway, there was a man, obviously homeless, who didn't have anything, and he was sitting there. and he was pretty gruff looking, pretty scary looking. I was probably 8 years old at the time, so I knew not to talk to strangers, and that was my first inkling, was to get away from this guy.
Sure.
And my dad said, got us to the car so that we were safe, my brother and I, and then went over and talked to the man and got to talk to him a little bit. And in about 30 seconds, I saw him hugging him, and I saw him give him some money. And then they were walking to the car, and the guy that was the homeless man was crying, and my dad put him in the front seat, told my brother to get in the back seat so that he wouldn't. I still think that was kind of a safety thing.
Yeah, definitely.
And then drove him to the shelter, the one shelter that he knew of that was open. It was a church, a Catholic church that had a shelter over off of Shield Street at the time.
Okay.
And helped him inside and got him there. And then we left from there and went to, there wasn't anything open because I think it was Christmas Eve and it was later in the evening, but like Walgreens or a grocery store or whatever. I can't remember exactly where we went.
Yeah.
And we went and bought whatever clothes we could find at these places, like sweatshirts, and a little bit of food. And then he also got him a couple of fun things, like I think he got him like a book and a few things that maybe he could enjoy.
Okay.
To give him some sort of Christmas.
Yeah.
And that to me, a lot of people I think would have just walked by that guy in the entryway and not made a difference.
Yep.
And he taught me that you can make a difference pretty easily if you just try.